Well, everybody, how are we doing? Looks like a correction, right? Looks like a correction. Mardi Gras Meltdown, possibly. Seasonality really kind of getting there. I mean, getting people worried, doing its thing. Got the Fear and Greed Index by CNN and all the other people like cranked up to 11, I would say, on the fear. And, you know, when we look at this chart, I'll pull it over here in a second. We're doing the seasonality thing. I mean, it's not what everybody wanted to see, but it's kind of happening. Like, that's right there. I mean, right there. I don't even know sometimes. Like, it's just doing it, right? I mean, all my channel members, Arturo, Ivan, Logan, Dan, Donald, Rex, Sergio, Darren, Amy, Sledge, Be Like Water, Svenborn, Rongamer, good to see you as always. Steven, David, Ed, Ted, Ed, Ted, Cliff, Kevin, Don, Terry, Mark. Glad to see everybody. And then everybody else, all my other subscribers like Marianne, Mary, Laura, John. Glad to have you too. Rosalind, Merle, Craig, David, Nikki. Glad to have everybody. So, that right there. That right there. Is anybody surprised? Anybody surprised? I mean, 20-year historical. We do this correction every year. A lot of people call it the February S show that continues into March, and then we get the bottom and we reverse. And I mean, not really surprised. Not really surprised. SPX finally. I was surprised on the dip yesterday. Like, I actually, when we opened up here, I did not think we were going to do that. I have to be honest. I did not think that yesterday was going to do that in one day. That met the lower low thing. Friday, we tried to bottom on a Friday. We got the lower low. That 90 to 95% thing, we don't bottom on a Friday for SPX. Kind of worked out right there yet again. It's one of those crazy things. That's a very bearish pattern, as a lot of other people have pointed out. A bearish engulfing like that, a bearish engulfing candle followed by a bull attempt, dead cat bounce, followed by another bearish engulfing. That's a bearish pattern. Not gonna lie. Now, the problem with going lower is that everything's at support. Problem with a big crash right now, we have the Fear and Greed Index cranked up to extreme fear. The market is freaked out. We got people buying puts like crazy. And then go look at this. Right here. And VIX, despite being elevated, is not pricing in a giant downside. Look right here. Pricing in a backwardation. This is a backwardation. This means the market does not expect this thing to continue. It's the forward curve in the futures. Now we might get a spike, but it's unlikely to continue. So the powers that be are keeping this thing priced reasonably, and they're not expecting, look, we're expecting low volatility into June. Maybe rising volatility in October. That fits with when I expected kind of the high to be in. And we just see some bigger pullback. That's odd. So if you're scared right now, if you're freaking out, you're like, oh my, holy whizzle sticks, we might flush out in the market. Sit, get your bearings. Could we dip a little lower? Yeah, we could dip a little lower. All right. We might. It's possible. It's possible we go down here. We hit the 3-day. It's possible. Possible we go all the way down here. Right now, look where the July high is. That's where NASDAQ's sitting. Hanging out right below the July high. We've already rallied up there. Just kind of sitting, cooking, retesting. Next level down to watch for NASDAQ. Be this low right here. Might be indicating we're going to do something deeper. This one, I warned you we may see a bigger dip. Already down to 110. 70, 80 could be where we're heading. This could flush out. If that flushes out, it's likely we take some of these indexes on down a little bit. NASDAQ could drop on down. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture here. Maybe helpful if we go to a clean chart. Turn the bounce off. Minimize that. Just clean the chart. Zoom her out. Look at that 3-day. Look what we've done. Look at the moves. Potential. Potential to retrace back to that area right there. Look. That breakout level. We hit the 1618. Potential to retrace. Now, if you look at it on log mode, we just came up, scraped the top. Potential to retrace. Before we extend it. Yes. Same kind of situation. We kind of pushed limits here. Right there. Potential to retrace. Back into that zone. There's potential, but we don't typically do it all in one go. When the market's extreme fear, we've got this thing cranked up, we don't typically do a big flush out. This is going to be a longer process. All right. Did we hit the final squiggle? I don't know. There's lots of pullbacks in here, and the count doesn't quite line up with this being done yet. Looks like we need one more to the upside. To me. Permacautious, exactly. Permacautious. Looking for opportunities. We're fishing. Like NVIDIA is high risk. High risk. We could drop right down to that 3-day lickety split. We could drop down to the weekly. Look, that's why 70, 80. That's why. That's why I keep saying that. That last pullback got us below the weekly. This pullback could get us below the weekly. It's the way the market works. Now, when you look at this, though, there's swings along the way. We're just a little blip off the top so far. There's probably going to be swings along the way. Got to be careful. Why focus on NVIDIA? Because it's one of the top traded stocks right now. We go look at this right here. Oop, sharing all my information. Thank you. Look at this right here. Look at the options volume. SPY top, QQQ number 2, number 3, NVIDIA, number 4, Tesla, number 5, IWM. Why do I look at S&P 500? Because it's number 1. Why do I look at QQQ? It's number 2. Why have I been talking about NVIDIA and Tesla lately a lot? They're 3 and 4. And then Russell coming in number 5. Number 6, PLTR. And then I haven't even been talking much about Intel, but Intel and PLTR are above Apple, above Bitcoin, above MicroStrategy, Amazon down here, AMD potentially about to make a bottom. Got Mara in here. A lot of the names I talk about a lot are in this top list of stocks right here. This is just Market Chameleon. Pop on here, click the options, go to implied volatility rankings, and this is how you pull this up. I just sorted by current option volume to generate this list. This is not how I generate. I do use Market Chameleon to generate the morning monster movers list, but I don't use this list. I use the pre-market movers. They have a pre-market scanner in here. Up under stocks, they have a pre-market trading. I use that to generate the list. Now, if you want to know what has the highest implied move or highest, relative to its price, you can go over here and sort by IV. Right now, ARKB, or what is it? ARKB? No, that's ARBK. ARBK. Sorry. That's small on my screen right here. Has that implied volatility 271%. Holy balls. Oh, that's crazy high. So, some names you probably haven't heard of. These are probably a lot of biotechs and stuff like that. That's Sonova Energy, Microcloud Hologram, Therapeutics, Biotech. There's SMCX, Defiance 2X Long SMCI. So there's tools. You can go find this stuff. All right. I don't pay for this. This is free. Free tool. You can sort by the top options by volume right here. Lots of alerts kicking off this morning. Potentially making a bottom. Now, it would not surprise me one bit to see this dip all the way into the bottom of this and find support. Find support here. Now, when the market gets super duper, Goose talks about this. When the market gets super bearish, we typically get one of those rips, and there's usually 10 to 15 of these in a year that make up all the gains of the market. So when everybody's sufficiently freaked out, we get one of these big reversal rips. There's usually only 10 or 15 of them a year. We get 100, 150, 200 point day. And if you miss it, you miss out on a bunch of the gains. Like right there, we had that big, we were here, a 2-day rip. Look at that 2-day rip right there. If you missed that 2-day rip, you missed out on 3%. So by getting out of the market, you got to know when you're getting back in. We can easily reverse this baby very quickly. You see it right here. We sufficiently freaked everybody out, and then big rip, followed by another big rip. Then we dipped again, and then ripping off the bottom. That's the way this thing works. I told y'all we would be in a correction. If anybody's surprised, you can let me know in the chat. Hopefully, if you're surprised, you're new here. If you've been around for a little while, hopefully you're not surprised one little iota, because we talked about this. We've been talking about this for months. Now's not the time to be scared. You should be prepared for this. We talked about it for a lot. I mean, if you thought it's full of crap and we weren't going to correct, guess what? Welcome to the correction. We hit the roadmap line. We're not sufficiently below it. We're not like, it's not just like, see you later, bye-bye. We're finding support here. We found lows here before. We've been in this vicinity already this year. When you look at the yearly candle, we're not even that far down. A couple of people were freaking out. Oh my gosh. S&P down huge. Look at the yearly candle. We're just down a little blip. Just a little blip. Not even much yet. Opened up right there. 59.05. We're down to 57.91. Take a deep breath. Take a chill pill. We're at support. All right. Stay calm. Sure, there's a correction potential that this. I mean, look, S5TW stocks above their 20-day. This really, yesterday it spiked up, and we just went back to the bottom. We've been in this choppy zone for all of February. I warned that we, likely to dip into this lower area before we can rally again. S5FI, we're just hanging out in the middle. The stock's above the 50-day, hanging out in the middle. We could dip a little lower, and then probably we're going to go up to the top. The stock's above their 200-day. We're just kind of hanging in the middle. I'm not sure if we topped out or not, but we did get above 80, which sets the stage to go back to the bottom. But how? In what time frame? And we could go up to the top before we go down. We could make a high up here above 90. This could just be a little correction on stocks above their 200-day. So you got to keep it all, it's just seasonality, nothing new. I'm just, trying to address everybody freaking out. I mean, I know there's panic. There's people that got caught. I know. And for this Mardi Gras day, I'm offering a live trade room at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you want to come see it, you want to come hang out, it will not be on YouTube. It'll be right here on this link in the chat. You come join me, 3 o'clock. We'll hang out and discuss some trades. Oh, look at that. UBS, nice. That one worked out. Like, I traded that one right there with Apollo. If it was with me, I set a target. I got the heck out. And now look at it. Why do you get out right here? Because look at that. Right down to the stop out. That's why you get out. They're short-term trades. They're not big runners. Short-term trades. Short-term opportunities. Beautiful. Now, looking at this move on ES. Grind down, grind down, grind down. We rejected the 1 hour. Right there. What was the first warning sign? that candle. When we rejected the 1 hour, that was the warning sign we were going on down. Now, this is potentially 5-wave down. How do we know? Jump down, get enough candles. Right here. First move down. Compare that to the last move down. Look at this. Equality right here. This first move down with the retrace. Right here. Proportional. 618. Look at that bounce. 618. Extension. Bounce up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Classically proportional. And potentially nearing completion of this move. We may get a strong correction. And it could be the bottom. So what am I seeing? Elliott wave-wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. Now 5 can extend. We can push 5 on down into this area right here. Easily. This is delayed by 10 minutes. So when I sit here, I do like counts like this all day long. Right? Wave 1s and wave 5s tend to be near equality or an extension. That first move down, the retrace to the 618. Beautiful. Measured bounce down. That set up the stage. We did a deep move, 272. That's a lot of enthusiasm to the downside. Retraced back up to the 1272 and pushed out for the final move to the 272. Potentially done. This can kick off a bigger retrace. Now, how do you know? You watch the smaller time frames. Start out with the 1 minute. If we get above the 1 minute roadmap line, then you switch up to the 5 minute. Right now, we're still rejecting. We're still pushing off the 1 minute. Not in a reversal yet. Watch the 5 minute. So you just set your alerts. You set your warning zones. Like there's the 5 minute zone. Jump up to the 15 minute. Here's the 15 minute zone. Jump up to the 30 minute. Here's the 30 minute zone. How do I know when the reversal's going? Set your alerts. We've held the 1 hour all the way down through here. What's a confirmation that we're going on a bigger bounce? We break through the 1 hour. When we look at the 4 hour, hadn't really been, that one hadn't really come into play. So when we test the 4 hour, that'll be the real test. Like, are we going to stay in this correction, head on down, or are we done, we break through, and we're going on up? See the ladder of resistance going higher? Goes from the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour. Right there. It's the ladder of resistance. You can do this on any chart, any ticker, any reversal, anything like that. How do we know? You watch that ladder. We start breaking through all those levels, probably going on up here to targets. How do we know we're going on down? Start breaking below this big orange box I've had on the chart for a little while. Possible we come down here. It's possible. Does it look likely right now? Not in one big flush. Probably not. We'll probably do something like a big bounce to a 618 level if we're going to flush on down. We don't typically just flush, keep grinding lower. Now, the way this is set up, we're just grinding lower. We're just grinding little extensions lower, squeaking it down just a little bit. That makes it tough to trade a flash crash, you know. And we're pushing on down a little bit. Like I said, 10-minute delay. There's that daily bubble I put on there. Put that on there a couple weeks ago. And the reversals work on the upside too. Like we start breaking down below the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, 30 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, the three, it just piles up. Like when we top out, if we start breaking all those roadmap lines, your indication we're going the other way. It works. It's just how it works. It's what I watch. I flip that. Why do I flip through time frames all the time? That's why. All right, what time frame do you watch? Well, I stay on the daily because big picture kind of gives you what's going on. But if you really want to know the nuance, you got to dive all the way down. These are the ones I watch. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, 3-day, weekly. NASDAQ looks like we're going to dip on down, retest that little low there. Now, UVXY. Coming up to the roadmap line. Watch out. Last time we hit the roadmap line, that reversed strongly. One more layer on NASDAQ right here. We could come down to that 50% retrace, possibly even a 618 retrace. If we come down that low, it sets us up for a potential measured bounce. Bigger potential upside. Same could be said with ES. If we were to retrace down into this area right here, sets up that potential measured bounce, extends the target on up, potentially a little higher. Maybe up to the 6,600 area. Maybe up in here. So if we bounce down on here, it's something to watch. If we flush it on down in there, something to watch. It's about 200 points lower. Russell, well, guess what? We're heading on down to that support. I'll be dang. How many times did I say we're probably getting down to that 2,000 area? Almost there. Oil breaking down. Time to watch. There's a bit of support at 64. That's the prior low from back here in May 23. Yeah, May of 23. So there's a support zone for oil right here. And if we get below it, target on down to 60. So we may find support anywhere in here. And if we slice right through that, we're going on down to 50. Gold. We gotta get a few more candles because I want to illustrate this right here. Jump down time frame just so I have more than 2 candles. We're at that 618 resistance right here. See where this, on the way down, we did this little consolidation right here. We're stuck there. If this rejects, going lower. We break back below. It's 1 hour roadmap line, back below 2910, 2900. It's the indication we're going lower than that low right there at 2850. How low could she go? Right now, the setup is kind of a measured bounce. Sets up this potential right down in here. At the minimum, somewhere right around that area. Jump back up to the daily, see what that lines up with. And we're about halfway to the daily roadmap line. Kind of bounced off the 4 hour right now. Watch for that bigger flush. Large discrepancy between the 4 hour and the daily. It's that 4 hour we touched, the daily's way down here. I picked the time frames I picked because they're kind of multiples of each other. I don't go making up extra time frames. I don't go pull up the 2 hour. I'll go pull up a 3 hour. Bitcoin, this one's interesting. If we're going to hold this potential reversal off the lows, we're at that 618 level. Did the initial move up? Did the retrace? Holding the 618. If we're going higher, now's the time to do it. We almost touched the 786. Potential measure bounce reversal here. Remember, Bitcoin tends to be the risk on, risk off asset. This can lead the market. Bitcoin can start taking off and then the market follow. You want to know a chart to watch? I keep this chart up all day, every day. Bitcoin, I watch. I watch Bitcoin to give me an indication where we're going. Look at those levels. That's back to all-time high right there at the 1618. If this measured bounce reversal works out, likely to go back to all-time high, bounce off of it, and go breaking on out. Interesting, right? I think it's highly interesting right now that all lines up. There's that 105 level. There's that 108 level, all-time high. There's that 100,000 level where we consolidated. It's kind of weird how it all lines up with the potential that this is a measured bounce. Now, we get down below 80,000, probably quickly making lower lows and reset the reversal potential. Want to keep an eye on right here. Set your alert right. Set your alert here. If we break that level, probably going on down. If we break back above 92, it's likely we're getting on up to at least 98, if not 105, and maybe if we get to 105, and not a stretch to go back to the all-time high. Easy like that. Easy. I make it easy. When we do the in-person event for my VIP members next week, we're going to work through how to break down a chart. Now, I sit here and look at these same tickers over and over every day, so I kind of have the path just, it's memorized. Like, what am I expecting? It's memorized. Ethereum keeps pushing lower. If we get below this, orange box, high potential to flush back to the triple digits. Really pushing the limits here on Ethereum. This can easily result in a big flush out. I warn yet again. That would be upwards of 67% of the value of Ethereum. Poof, gone. Be careful. In KD, as I warned, if we break out, which we haven't been able to get back in the box, so if this starts breaking on down, watch for the bigger flush outs. Coming up on put this back on the chart. Coming up on this zone right around the 50% retrace. Same as everything else. Like right here. Got support here, support here, support here. And if we rip through that, going lower low, and that's going to be a big liquidation event. And it could go fast, like we did back in August. Do I think it's going to happen in one go? Probably not. Even back in August, we got several day bounce in here before we did the final move. This is not setting up for a fast liquidation. It's kind of bleeding off. Needs a bounce. Like things don't just typically, you look back in the history of this thing, you know, when we bleed off slowly, we typically make a bottom. The big bleed offs don't just start and roll. So global liquidity in KD indicating this is spreading beyond just the United States. Dollar back to the roadmap line. I thought we'd get here again. We sliced below. We're going lower. Back down here. Low 100s. Possibly even down to the mid 90s. All right. I go pull the gainers, which there's not many of today. Things that were $2 or more up in the pre-market, put them on the gainers list. There's not a lot. Things that were decliners, down $2 or more. And there were 90 something of those, which I'm probably not going to make it through. I'm probably just going to hit some highlights here instead of doing the normal thing. And then as far as bonus trade, we'd be careful trying to get into anything today until we show signs of a reversal. Ukto, look at that. Nice pop. Reported strong earnings. Nice. This actually potentially setting up the run. This could be the bonus trade for today, basically. That basically, we close the day above here, setting up the move to this 120, 125 area. Where's the opportunity? There's some opportunity. Right there. SE. Little pop, but that looks like we're on the path to go lower. ONC. That's going to be pharmaceutical stuff. Pass. Oil, natural gas. We've got to go look at the natural gas chart. Yeah, probably going for that target. Right there's the target. Dave. Turned around. It was popping, dropping, target, roadmap line. Leverage Tesla on, sitting on the roadmap line. Potential for this to reverse. There's the high, there's the low. If we get the bounce, break back above the 618, 66 on the upside. Now, there's also the potential that this 618 is resistance. We bounce up here and go lower. So that's the risk. So 66 on the upside. Potential further downside. Down here around 40, 35, 40. NTES needs to hold this breakout. So we broke out of this downtrend of highs. Needs to hold here. We need to see that high, that low. Break back above 105. That can kick off the bigger rally up to 150 area right up in here. This target I've had up here. So we need to see that. You got opportunity to add exposure to NTES if you don't have it. Although, if we break down below the roadmap line, it's game over. So stop out 93. So you got $6 of potential risk, basically, for potential upside of $60. That's not bad. That's a 10 to 1 risk to reward. Risk 6 to make 60. Nice potential. Would I play options? I don't know the time frame on that. So options is kind of questionable right there. TXN. You could just sit there on NTES. Texas Instruments, just sitting at the roadmap line, not looking very strong. UVIX. UVXY was the better move. Came up into the roadmap line. Watch out. That can easily drop back out. It's just a play on VIX. VIX still sitting at the highs. Remember, we only usually get a day. One day on a big spike. It's over. So far, the trend is lower highs. Not sure I expect this to go above 28. Just not sure. If we do, probably get up to about 33. Then watch out for the strong reversal. NVD. Yeah, it's just NVIDIA stuff. Ugly. Watch out for that to make the next move down. Ultra Gold. Baidu. It's doing the retrace. That low, that high. We're at the potential measured bounce point. Didn't quite click that properly. Potential to get that bigger bounce going on Baidu. Tesla pushing on down. We need to hold above this point. Otherwise, starting to look bearish on Tesla. We're at the point where I need to see that hold. If we start pushing below that, I start questioning the bullish move off this low back here in April of last year. Meta coming on down. Probably going to make it back to the roadmap line around 600. Let's see. ETN. Still hunting a bottom on Eaton. Axion. Still hunting a bottom on Axion. Potential to be at the roadmap line and bounce here, but it's grinding it. App. Potentially coming on down. MSTR. Holding the higher low, but there's still potential going down here to 150. GE Veranova, potentially at support. Could push on down to 285. BGT. That can come on down to 540. Carvana. On the bottom here, if we break down below. So if we get below that low, we can go on a bigger, deeper drop on Carvana. I am short a put on Carvana. Have been for, I'm out to 2027. So long-term short a put on Carvana. Rockwell Automation, sideways chop, nothing there. Goldman Sachs getting a little retrace. Ooh, did we hit the roadmap line? Almost. Almost. There's the target. How's BAC doing today? Yeah, retracing pretty hard. Back into the roadmap line. DE. Getting a lot of flush out. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. Coinbase. Pushing a little lower. CG. Pushing a little like, ugh. I want to see this one hold in this vicinity. If we start pushing below that, may not be good for CEG. MDB. This one's not been performing. That was a bearish bounce with a lower high off the roadmap line. Potentially going to make a flush down to a lower low here than we've seen in the last year or so. Hey, Reddit, as I expected, back to the roadmap line. Targets, kind of expected a lower low there. Was not maintaining. You know, that was a bearish bounce off of the roadmap line there. Probably going to break lower low somewhere down in this 80 to 100 area. GitLab and bearish chop. Bearish chop. PLTR. Roadmap line still in play. To the downside. Doesn't have to get there, but still in play. Caterpillar, yeah, that's looking pretty rough. Caterpillar and DE are my two like canaries in the coal mine. When they start turning really bearish, we might be in for a bigger correction in the market. bigger, extended, like longer duration correction in the market. Snow dropping back down a little bit. Let's check this out here. This might actually hit the roadmap line, so be careful. I did add a long-term position here. We're at a potential measured bounce. If this thing shoots out, we'll be up here back into that gap down area right here. Best Buy getting crushed a little bit. Hymns coming on down to the roadmap line. Support at 28. Shopify. Ooh, almost there. That's a fascinating one right there to me. Shopify can hold, and that may turn higher very quickly. Looks like we want to pull that down just a little bit more. Looks like we want to bottom right around 90. Set my alert. Amazon. Getting below the roadmap line. Watch for that deeper, bigger retrace I was talking about. That low, that high. Could be gunning for this retrace that's much bigger, much deeper. Set up that bigger bounce potential on Amazon. This move up looks played out. This would be the opportunity to add for the bigger bounce potential out here on Amazon. Kava. That's the bubble pattern. Guess where we're coming. All over but the crying. Oh my gosh, you've got to be beep. We're down to the level. Did we hit 95? I think we did. Holy fudge muffins. Yeah, the low was 95. 95. I'll be dang. Look at that. Potential measured bounce, and then in AMD, this. Now we could come a little lower. It's entirely possible we could dip this on down in here. Entirely possible. I've been looking for that 95 level. I mean, who's been following me and heard me say 95 on AMD? Like, I've been watching for this for a long freaking time. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. I've been looking for this level since over, like, for a year. I've been waiting for this. I played a couple of pops in here. Been waiting for the downside. I may add. I may go fishing for a long-term AMD position here. Why? Because here's the target. Yeah, baby, look at that. 5x. Maybe even closer to 10x. That's my kind of play right there. It's my kind of play. For anybody that was following me on TGLS, I closed that out. Got out of that one. Just sick of the chop. This one right here, TGLS. Just got really choppy here. I wasn't a fan of that chop. It's just been sideways for like 6 months-ish. November, December, January, February, March, 5 months. Finally got sick of the chop for 5 months, and I just bailed. Now, it may pop on up here, but I moved it to other opportunities. So I was in down here, out right there. I got in 11/6/2023, out yesterday 3/3/2025. Twilio's coming back for the roadmap line. Fish around for a few more. FAS maybe coming back for the roadmap line. Hood coming back for the roadmap line. Walmart coming back potentially for the roadmap line. Dell, well, didn't do the bullish thing. That's probably going on down. There's the high, there's the low, there's the high. Probably coming down here to 70 on Dell. Would be my guess. Lots of stuff. Gorilla. Holding up pretty well today. Needs to retrace the roadmap line, but holding up really well. Roblox holding up. May dip to the roadmap line. Draw, please. There it is. May dip on down to that 54. And Logitech. And probably gunning for that roadmap line there. So I just hit the highlights on the dips. Sorry if there was something else you wanted me to cover. But that's why we have 30 Minutes of Awesome coming up today at 5 p.m. Remember, I'm live 3 p.m. Shares, definitely shares on AMD. Like timeline, probably 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9 years to get up to those crazy targets. So way beyond any options you could buy at this point. And we may dip lower, so be careful. I wouldn't go. I'm not looking to add a full boat position today yet. It's just on my radar that AMD finally met the downside criteria. We haven't set up any kind of reversal, so be careful. So live at 3 p.m., trade the close, throw out some trades. It's not a sales presentation, so if you missed the link for that, right here, once again, in the chat. And 30 Minutes of Awesome right here on YouTube, 5 p.m. As always, 5 p.m. Eastern. Come see me. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you set your alarm. Bias for the day. I'm cautious. Watching for that reversal. Pushing on lower here. Pushing on down. Watching the 1 minute. I'll be watching the low time frames here today for a sharp reversal. And then quickly popping back up through the time frames, watching for, we're hitting that downside. Beautiful. Full roadmap line test is what that looks like. Full test it. Beautiful. Don't panic, all right? It's the biggest thing here today. Start liquidating everything, you start panicking, then you're going to sit there and watch a reversal kick off, and you're going to be like, mother trucker, what the heck happened? Be careful out there. Remember, the account you save may be your own. If you didn't set your sales for the correction back here, now we're late. It's like I told you before, jumping in up here, you're late to the move. Jumping out right here, you're late to the dip. We broke down below the trend lines. That was the big red flag right there. That first big drop right there. 21st. Now, look where we're at. This was the other trend line. We broke down to it a few days back, last Thursday. There we are. At the roadmap line. Watch for the bottom. Don't think we're going hugely lower. We could dip on down to 5,600. It's possible. This could be a big flush out day. We could see this dip and then all of a sudden reverse. It'd be a wild and crazy day if this actually closed green. I'm setting my sails waiting for the live. So it is a Mardi Gras meltdown so far. We'll see if this continues. Stay tuned. Trump may tweet anything. You never know. Never know. And we kind of skipped the calendar here. Not a lot happening today. Trump can get out. And he's speaking at 9 p.m. Get out there and say anything. Twist the market around. Be careful. We do have the jobs report coming up on Friday. That's the next big economic news. So stay tuned. I'll be back 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Have a great day. Bye.